So I have already recorded the intro to this episode, but I wanted to show you what I've been up to over here at the Netherwart farm. I feel like this should be at the beginning. As you can see, I've decided to decorate it. And if this design theme looks familiar at all, it's because we used the same set of blocks in our Nether hub. And so all around here I've gone and added in the warp blocks wherever you can see. At some point we need to make a proper entrance to this place, and I've got a feeling it might sort of be down here and allow you to come straight to where you pick up the warts, and then you can climb up the ladder to get in the farm. Another thing I've done is I've added extra redstone lamps everywhere so that the mobs won't be able to spawn. You can see there's some in the middle of the stone bricks here. All of these spots, every little part of this place has been lit up. So now this is a very nice and colourful place to be. And I've also done an experiment over here as well. If you remember, we initially used this with the axe that had the fortune enchantment on. I got around 8.2 stacks per hour when AFK here, and I did the same test with the hoe that also has fortune free, and I got around 9.2 stacks per hour. So it does seem that the hoe is yielding more with fortune free. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about this area, so let's jump into the intro that I originally recorded for this episode. So we're kicking off this episode over at the witch farm because we need resources, right? Lots of resources, yes. For our mega project, if you haven't seen the last couple of episodes, you need to go check them out because we are undertaking a mega project which involves many of the things from over here. I've got to clear out this inventory, right? And I didn't even say it. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. This was a great session, by the way. Chests upon chests of materials. All this stuff was empty before we started, I believe. And kind of reminded, we've already got the instant health potions over here. Might actually be a good idea to capture loads of this stuff and assist our brewery that we're going to build in producing these potions. But that's a thought for another time. Right now, we need to head over to the commercial district. I believe there are some profits for us to collect and some more to be made. Yes, look at this. Woo! Woo! Tons of diamonds, right? Corrales needs a redonkulous amount. I think he said like 8 shulker boxes worth of raw granite. Luckily for us and our diamond making ambitions, we should have a healthy supply of granite over here. And yeah, the way to get down below when I want to use my Netherwart farm is still this. I literally just drop down into this chute, spread the wings, and yeah. Oh, wow. It looks like I actually cleared out these chests already to stock up all of the granite. There is, of course, plenty of patches of granite down here, so I think what I'll do in a live stream is come down here and just mine out all these excess bits. For now, though, I guess we're limited to whatever is here. Okay, 1 full, 2 full. Yeah, almost 3. That's good. If you cast your mind back to the last episode, we obtained all of this sandstone. Well, Corrales is after this stuff as well. So I'm really curious now. He's going to be building something out here in the desert that involves a crazy amount of granite and a crazy amount of sandstone. So we are all stocked up again, and while I'm here, I think I'll do a round of profit collecting from our shops. Also, what do I spot there? A mushroom? Is it a mushroom? A mushroom's wandered in this back area. Oh dear. And while we collect our profits here, I'm also going to keep track of everything that I need to restock. And I've been doing this with a book and quill lately. I keep count of all the things that I need to restock for our shops. And do you know what? I like this a lot more. I used to use a notepad on the computer, but I think, using things inside the game, it's a lot more immersive, and I really like that. I've just had a total moment of deja vu. I go over here to just remember how much granite that I need to collect, and oh, there's diamonds here. I mean, I literally logged off for like 5 minutes and then came back and was sold out. Corrales is online. He's jumped straight over here and brought them immediately. So I guess we now need 3 chests worth to restock. So while I get to work on wrangling up all of our profits and restocking, 2 things I want to mention. We're still doing the live stream after I upload the video thing. So if you're watching this within the first 3 hours of it being released, I'll be live on twitch.tv/Xisuma. And the second thing is, I've actually already been recording a bunch of stuff for this episode about the mega project because there is a lot that's going to go into it. So let's jump to that footage. So my friends, we're now going to dive into the brewing system, and there's going to be a lot to talk about here because this thing is going to be massive, as you know, but it actually revolves around a design from like 6 or 7 years ago from this channel. And this is the design right here. As you can see, it's really quite compact. Loading it in has popped off this rail, but don't even worry about that. So I've stripped out some non-essential blocks from the front here, and now we can focus on the design. This is essentially a continuous brewer. As long as there are ingredients up the top here to be fed into the brewing stand and potions from the side here, it's going to continuously brew and fill up the storage down below. And if it gets full like this is right here, the system will then kind of stop brewing without breaking or backing up. So once you take potions out of it, it starts brewing again. And you know what? I'm not going to explain the specifics of each bit of redstone. There is the old tutorial video if you want to go and understand the ins and outs of this. It's a really clever bit of design work right here. We're going to focus on the bigger picture and how we're going to take this design to create a massive, massive mega brewery. If you can't tell, I'm trying to hype it up. So this project is essentially go big or go home, and that means that we got to store our potions in shulker boxes so that we can have redonkulous amounts of them. So down the bottom here where you see this smooth sandstone, this is me attaching a shulker box loader. There is a whole bunch of redstone here because we have to keep this locked so that the items aren't drained out of the shulker box above. And then with the right timing, we've got to push this over to break the shulker box, allow it to get picked up by the hoppers, and then dispense another one, lock this all here, without any potions being taken by that hopper and going into this chest. You can see that I've done a little bit of testing. So if we give this thing a constant supply of potions, and over here a constant supply of shulker boxes, then it's going to be able to do just that. And once that one fills up, we'll see it in action, which might take a second. There it goes. Perfect, right? No potions came into here. They all stayed inside the shulker box. Now we have a unique challenge here. Not only do we need to feed in bottles into this brewing stand, we also need to feed in blaze powder as well. That's going to be possible though because we can have 4 slots for water bottles and blaze going into here. But above this space, we need to feed this in not only to one brewer, but a whole array of them. And so we're going to create an array of hoppers that distribute all of these different items. Now this system is an interesting one. It delivers all 4 ingredients perfectly into the hopper below, and I just don't trust it even though it is reliable, and it also makes it easier for us to actually distribute all of the items into it if we kind of change the layout. So around the back here you'll see that I've taken the signal that originates down below and I've moved it upwards and across like this so that it can power these droppers, and then it will reliably put them into the hoppers. And I've just realized my mistake. And fortunately, this is very easy to fix. We do not want those hoppers taking items out. And what this is going to do, the droppers are going to move the items into the hoppers. They're going to shuffle down on top of the brewing stand. And then we know every single time they're definitely going to be introduced in the correct order. So as you might have guessed, we're then going to have an array of hoppers running over the top to deliver all of the items. The first one will be the easiest because it's always going to be nether warts, but then after that we're going to have a whole tangle of different pipes essentially that deliver the different ingredients to these that need them. Now this next bit, it's kind of insane and it's going to be really impressive when we build the whole thing, but essentially we can safely stop brewing and resume it again without breaking any of the potions, and the way that we do that is by powering this block. So when certain conditions arise, we might want to do that to stop certain types of potions from brewing, and that could revolve around ingredients. So where we store the ingredients, we can create a redstone signal when we run out of a certain amount, and then that can send a signal across like this that then tells this one to be locked. However, if it doesn't use that ingredient, then it doesn't get locked. So we'll have a whole array of redstone like this behind the breweries to control that, and I think that's just my favourite part of the whole contraption. So the next step was to now put every single combination of potion into a spreadsheet so I could visualize all of the ingredients and all the things that we were going to have to build, and I learned that there are 111 different potion types in total. Now considering that the design of our brewery will have all of the brewers in a single line, this is going to add up to over like 500 blocks in width, which is way too big for this area. Now, having everything laid out visually like this was really quite useful because I started to notice something rather repetitious going on. You see this gunpowder and then gunpowder and dragon's breath over and over again, and that's because each of the different potion types can then be converted into splash and into lingering. So inside our factory, we're going to be packaging up our potions into shulker boxes. And this led to a fantastic idea. You see, you can brew 3 at a time, and we've got 3 rows of 9 inside of that shulker box. So what we could do is create a contraption where you take your shulker box of brewed potions and then bring them over to a brewing setup that has 9 brewing stands like this. Our redstone will then take all of these potions, evenly distribute them to each of these brewing stands and package them back up into another shulker box. Then we could have one setup that simply puts gunpowder into each of this to make the splash potion, and then another that does gunpowder and the dragon's breath to do lingering. Heading back to the spreadsheet, we now have a far more manageable list of 36 modules that we're going to build, and I reordered these so that the distribution of items means that we're not sending out the fermented spider eyes all the way across all the modules, for example. So that'll start somewhere around here, and you can see I've lumped the ones that use them kind of together in the same space. And then at the very end, we've got the weakness potion, which doesn't even use the nether warts. So the row of hoppers, if you imagine them, kind of ends with the invisibility potion. So I headed into the test well to kind of finalize the design and get a sense of this thing on the big scale, and unfortunately I think it's too big. This thing is like 185 blocks across. It would use 100 stacks of hoppers, that is 6,400, and perhaps a little too much for one contraption alone. So I've been thinking back to this idea where we can brew up splash potions and lingering potions, and maybe we could do the same thing with the glowstone and the redstone. And it makes me a little sad that I won't get to show you this in action, but I had a really cool idea to make all of these pipes set up so that they had full stacks of redstone and glowstone and then iron bars. This is essentially like a filtering system. So this one lane of hoppers could share 2 materials, and then over here where it picks it up, you would simply have a full supply of the one material down here, and then above it you could do the same thing again. You can filter all of that and then just have your glowstone here, and it would only suck out the glowstone in the hoppers above. And this is the only pipe that's going to need that kind of filtering system. I'm a little bit sad we didn't get to see that in action, but what we are going to have to do is reduce the amount of breweries and switch over to modifying potions that have been brewed into the 8 different varieties that can be made from the base type. I'm then going to also need some instructions as well. For example, you can't take an instant damage potion and then add redstone to it. So if someone puts in a box of that, it might end up breaking the system. So I think that is enough talk for now. All the ideas are in place, and over here I've set up 15 of these in a row to brew the 15 different types of potions. So next time you see this, it's going to be on the Hermitcraft server. And of course it's going to go around this area, just roughly between the 2 beacons. We're going to be able to squeeze it in, allowing us to build a mega structure around the outside. And this is actually all that we need to build the entire thing. It is actually a lot of resources, but it just fits into 2 shulker boxes. And it doesn't take up the craziest amount of space just yet. This is it right here behind me. I'm going to light this area up. I figured it'd be a good idea while I'm building it just to make sure the area is safe and secure. But of course we're going to have like extra breweries on either side that convert the main potions we brew in the middle. So that area is all lit up and secure, ready for a time-lapse, which we're going to do shortly. First of all, though, remember we're collecting our profits from earlier in the episode. It's getting ridiculous now. We got a crazy amount. And also, we got a beacon because it's now November. Every month we get a beacon from XB. I tell you what, that was a fantastic deal we made. So this place over here, an ambitious project that didn't quite turn out to be what I originally imagined, which is kind of the way our potion setup is going. However, I'm absolutely loving the potion project, and to be fair, this ended up being really great as well. This is our converter for all of the concrete powder that we got over here. This machine's amazing, it's super fast, so even though it looks like I got a lot to convert here, it won't take us too long, and of course this is so we can go and stock up our concrete shop. So this machine is amazing, but it tends to routinely lock up once you've got a lot of players online. So we had about 8 people on, and then every so often the machine would kind of break. I'd have to go in and break all the blocks to get it started up again. A minor inconvenience, really. But luckily, to fix it, all you got to do is kind of hop over here and then dig your way through these blocks. So if you happen to use the same design as I do and it locks up for you as well, just break a bunch of these and then go back to placing blocks again and all should be good. And what would you know, in the process of restocking, someone has come and brought absolute crazy amounts of concrete, so much so that we're making another stack of profits here. Ridiculous. So with those distractions taken care of, we can now get to the brewery. I'm looking forward to this. It's probably going to take a long time to build, but everything is ready. We got the resources. This space is secured. And now, as you know, you should be hearing some music. It's time-lapse time. So what did I say? Next time you'll see this, it'll be on Hermitcraft, and here it is. But there is further to go. As you'll see, there are more resources inside of this shulker box, mainly hoppers. A lot of smooth stone and redstone as well. Yeah, there's a big expansion to connect this all together coming your way. So if it looks impressive now, things are about to change. Big time. And so there it is. I mean, there's still a long way to go with this project, but you might be able to suss out what exactly is going on here based on everything that I've explained. As you can see, the hoppers below me are the pathways for which the items to get picked up. So at the front here we've got the nether warts, and then if we head further back down in this direction, you've just got like some single ingredients for a single brewer, and you can see that because of this. So remember, when there are items inside, it turns off this redstone and allows for things to be brewing. So as we go further down, you can see it gets a little bit more complex, as then some of these start to deliver ingredients to 2 of them. And then there's also the fermented spider eyes, which deliver ingredients to a lot of them. So for that reason, you can see that there is extra wiring coming all the way down to the end here where the weakness potion is brewed. So this perspective might just be the better way to think about this whole build. All of the potions that we're brewing listed on the left correlate to what you see on the right. So you can follow the different storage modules, the chests, to see where those ingredients are stored, and then you can follow the lines of redstone to see how it interacts with the brewers further down that are more complex and use different ingredients. And the look of this thing ain't going to stay this way. All of these hoppers will eventually be covered up. There'll be a floor. We're going to have like an internal operations area where I can come along and stock up ingredients, and we'll hook up the redstone to lamps, so it can become obvious when, you know, we need to actually stock up the various materials. Now, I know what you're thinking. This ain't Hermitcraft. This ain't brewing. This is a snapshot. You're right. Just in case you don't know, though, if you're watching and thinking, what on earth is this stuff? A couple of days ago, we got a new snapshot, 20W45A. I did a video showing you it on my channel. Thought I'd mention this snapshot is amazing. I love the musical amethyst geode here. This is just endlessly entertaining. But yes, there's a video here on the channel for you to check out if you haven't seen it already. And getting back to our brewery business, we got our netherwort farm down the bottom. So the ingredient that's in 14 or 15 of these brewers is kind of ready to go. The thing I'm thinking about next is blaze powder, which is going to go through these ones, as well as water bottles. So we've got to build a contraption that takes bottles, fills them up, and sends them on their way. The thing is, I thought that I was just going to be going over to Stress Monster's blaze farm and getting more blaze rods, but of course, the nether got reset, didn't it? So if there is no one else's blaze farm to use, then we're going to have to build our own, and that's a great opportunity to go in search of a double blaze spawner. Hopefully we can find 2 of them next to each other and then make a really powerful farm, because as you know, we're smelting, we're brewing on a large scale, and we will need a crazy amount of the blaze powder. And we're going to need gas tiers eventually. I've got an idea for you. But for now, our focus will be blaze rods first of all, as it's literally essential for the brewing, which is sort of the same with the nether wart for 14 of those 15 potion types. Look at this though, I do have a lot stashed. Oh no, is it just one? Okay, it's 2.5 basically. I'm not sure if that's enough to get started though. And I don't want to rush this. I want to make sure we get our brewers started up with lots of ingredients so they can fill up shulker boxes. Loads of shulker boxes. And that reminds me, we'll actually need to go to the end quite a few times, because we're going to need this amount plus 3 for every single one of the brewers. I mean, that's a crazy amount. Actually, it's 405, and that's 12.5 stacks of shulker shells. That doesn't actually sound too bad. And if you had your ear to the ground on the snapshot that I talked about a moment ago, you'll know that Psycraft have already built a shulker box farm, right? Oh, would I like that right about now, but we are in 1.16. We're staying in 1.16. We're not upgrading to 1.17 until it's properly released, which has become the tradition here on Hermitcraft. Because if you've been watching for quite a few years, there was a time where we used to play on snapshots. And yes, I'm just kind of like aimlessly flying around and talking at the moment. It is clearly time to wrap this episode up, so if you've enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, go check out the snapshot video on my channel, and check out some of my other channels as well if you haven't had the chance to. I've got a music channel where I uploaded a video about the record I made 10 years ago. There's a link to listen to that and to download it as well, so go check that out if it interests you. But anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.